Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. Today we are doing readings about connecting with your inner Uruz, which basically is your inner strength. So Uruz is the rune of the wild ox, and it has to do with strength and health. I don't have any actual oxen figures, so I'm using bulls today. So you're going to pick a bull, and one of these bulls will bring you to a reading about connecting with your inner strength, your inner Uruz, your inner source of strength and health. And that's going to be using also the Forgotten English deck, which is so much fun. We're going to be doing that, and also the Black Tourmaline Elder Futhark runes today. So feel into the bowls, and one of these bowls is going to have a reading for you, and I will put the timestamps in the description, and I will see you there. Bye! Hello to all of you who chose the bull that was the first bull. So bull number one, who I'm going to call the gray bull. I'm going to move him over here, and he can preside over the reading. I'm going to choose a card. I'm going to pick a card. I'm going to pick a card from the Forgotten English deck. These are always fun. They're English words that are no longer generally used, and that words that we do know came from in general. So I'm just shuffling them, and I will choose the rune that has to, choose the card that has to do with this reading. So how are you going to connect with your inner strength, those of you who chose the gray bowl? We have Quacksalver. Quacksalver is the word. Let's see what that's about. At the height of the bubonic plague in Europe during the 1340s, many charlatans took advantage of frightened people by selling them useless salves and accompanying treatments. The Dutch called these people kwakkensalvers, later shortened to quacks, from the resemblance to ducks quacking when they sold their ointments. Oh my gosh, ornaments. When they sold their ointments. One such medicine, which was administered internally for the relief of symptoms of pestilence in the 1590s, was called the philosopher's egg. So there may be somewhere in your life where you've put your faith in something that's actually not really proven. There may be somewhere in your life where you are sort of clinging to something to help you that isn't actually helping you right now. So a good idea would be to go through and look at what you've been sort of making use of, hoping that it would help you, that actually, when you think about it, isn't actually helping you at all. It's just not helping you at all. It may not be hurting you, but it's not helping you in the least. So that's something that you might look at, and it's something that maybe, you got convinced of, but you never actually looked at the proof behind it and all that stuff like that. So that's going to help you reconnect with your inner strength. Now, I'm definitely not talking about things that are scientifically proven. Science is the method, and so things that are scientifically proven is good. Doctors and scientists tend to be with our best interests in mind. So it's not going to be one of those things, but if there's something that's like, one of those things that with the quack stuff, probably, oops, that's like that. Probably want to let that go. I'm going to do a couple of rows on this. Oh, there's Uruz. You actually get Uruz in your reading, which is lovely. Okay, there we go. So your central issue here is we have Tivaz. Tivaz is the rune of Tyr. Tyr's the warrior god, and this has to do with tending duties and responsibilities. And also driving forward into like your quest or whatever you want to do. Riding forward with in your cause. And leading up to this, something really just basically, and since it's pointing from this, it's like something sort of, it's maybe you saw something that was sort of like a miracle cure that was like, oh, this is so cool, and it's like ancient or whatever, and it's like blah blah blah, and there may be like lots of buzzwords about it, and you actually were a part of spreading that, and you sort of have made it into like a cause. But that's what led up to this, is something that you actually assisted in spreading, and you're sort of riding forward on, do you really want this to be a mountain you're going to die on, kind of thing. What is going to help you is have a look at your journey, really have a look at your journey at this point. have you, I'm wondering if this may actually be, have you been taking advantage of other people with something that you're putting forward but maybe isn't actually as helpful as it seems to be, like as you're making it out to be? There may be some of you who are in that situation. Mostly though, I'm seeing you as being, in order to connect with your inner strength, you're going to want to identify what in your life maybe isn't as helpful as you had it advertised to you as. So pay attention to your path. Look at your path. We have Raido, which is the rune of riding. It's the journey. Have a look at that. See where maybe things aren't as working out as well as you had been advertised that they should have. And once you identify that, then you'll be able to recognize where you're sort of, okay, maybe I should actually see where I feel safer. This is Othala above that. That's the clarifier. And so as soon as you identify, like, have a look at your journey and see where you are comfortable, see where you are at home, and where things are feeling safe, because there may be some things that aren't. What isn't helping you is, it looks like there has been some investment with this, whether it's money itself or whether it's just basically sense of worth, sense of identity, sense of something that you've invested in this already. And if you sort of start to question that, then it's like you're sort of questioning your intuition, you're questioning your heart, you're questioning, your emotions will start to surge. That's sort of what might drag you down at this point, because you have been like carrying the spear for this. But if you look at your life, look at your path, and see where you do feel comfortable, that's going to help you identify where there may be this going on. So your next step, actually, almost immediately, you're going to be in touch with your own strength, your own groundedness. You may have a bit of stubbornness that you're encountering at your next step, but mostly I'm sort of seeing you getting more in touch with, 4 feet on the ground if you're an ox, and just basically feeling a lot more grounded, a lot stronger, a lot more healthy. What is going to help you with that is continue to let these things be revealed to you. We have Pertho, which is the lot box. This has to do with things being revealed, surprises, fate, but things that were always there. So just allowing yourself to become aware of the things that became apparent once you actually examined your path and looked at where you're comfortable. And because, we know when something isn't quite right. You can talk it down to yourself. Like, you can out-talk your intuition if you really want to, and it's never good for you to do that. But you can say, oh, it's fine, everything's fine. Your heart knows it's not, but you're just like, you can tell it, but that's never healthy to do. So once you actually really look and that keeps being revealed to you, you allow that to be revealed to you, then that's going to help you get better grounded and get more strength and get more in touch with your inner Uruz, as well as your outer Uruz as well, your upright strength and health. What isn't going to help is that along with the investment that you've already put towards this that isn't helping you, you actually, maybe there's like an agreement, whether it's an actual agreement, like a signed agreement, or whether there's like just you have made this agreement with yourself. This is something that's going to be a bit hard to let go of. But really, you want to be more in touch with your own inner strength, and just basically to be honest with yourself and let the things that are being revealed to you, take those in and go, yeah, you know what, that's true. That's actually, maybe this isn't helping me as much as I would like it to. Your next step is we have Nauthi's reversed. Nauthi's is the rune of need. When it's reversed, it has to do with an emergency, basically drop everything and deal with this, and it is reversed. So it's at this point where you've actually made your decision and you're going to go, you know what, before I take one step more, I'm going to stop using this thing, whatever it is, that because it's not helping me, and it's a waste of my time and probably money. And so that's like immediately full stop, like sudden stop. What's going to help you is we have Vunyo. Vunyo is the rune of joy. You're basically going to be in a situation where you're going to be like, I'm going to follow my joy. I know that there's part of this that isn't making me happy, so I need to stop that so that I can enjoy being happy again. Happiness is good. Once again, what isn't going to help, we have Ingvaz. act of creation. So once again, there's a part of you that's going to still try to convince yourself because of all the time you've invested and perhaps money that you've invested. But honestly, the best thing for it is just to let go of it. And what this is going to lead you to is, once again, you're not going to feel swayed by the din of humanity or the quacks of the quacks. We have Manas reversed. Manas is the rune of humanity, and your part in it reversed. It's you marching to your own drummer, no longer swayed by the din or the quacks, as the case may be. So that, Grey Bull people, is your reading. I wish you good luck, and I wish you all the best, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, Dark Bull people. So I'm going to move the Dark Bull over here. I'm going to put him like that. And he's going to be very thoughtfully looking into the distance of my casting cloth. And we're going to shuffle the Forgotten English deck and see if we can find you a Forgotten English word that sums up what your issue is that's keeping you from, or perhaps going to help you connect to your inner uruz, or your inner strength and your inner health, which is where it starts. So sometimes it starts from the outside in, but mostly. So we have flitch. Let's find out what flitch is, or was. From Old Teutonic flicio, a side of an animal, now only pork, that had been cured. According to records, a 14th century noblewoman in the Sussex county town of Dunmow, England, I probably pronounced that wrong, attempted to encourage marital contentment by offering a prize called a Dunmow flitch to any man who would swear that for the past year he had not had a household brawl or wished himself unmarried. The flitch became a symbol of domestic happiness, but according to local records, only 8 of these prizes were awarded over the next 5 centuries. Okay. So, it's a symbol of domestic happiness. So your inner strength is going to come from a sense of domestic happiness, where everybody is honest with each other, and we haven't engaged in brawls or dissatisfaction without trying to fix it. So your focus is going to be on domestic happiness. If you're not with anybody in that way, then it's basically your home happiness. Happiness in the home is going to lead you, as long as your home is happy, you're going to feel connected with your inner strength, and things are going to be good. You also have to be honest with yourself, because that's the thing about the flitch, is that these people had to be honest and say, hey, you know what, I admit that I got into a fight, or that I wish that I wasn't in the situation, but I'm just going to lay the whole reading out first. But in fact, I can't remember how far I went with the other one. I think it was one more past this, actually. So let's do that. If not, you get an extra. But anyway, look at this. The outcome of this is inner strength. So beautiful. So this is your path. This is your path to inner strength. So your central issue, Dark Bull Flitch people, is we have the reward for being in a happy home. Your central issue is Hagalas. So there is a bit of a sense of where you're at right now being a bit chaotic. And that's why you're seeking reconnection with your inner strength and home happiness kind of thing. Leading up to this, it looks like there has been a lot of embattlement going on. We have Tivaz. Tivaz is Tyr's rune. Tyr's the warrior god. Often I see this as tending duties and responsibilities, but right now I'm seeing this based on the situation and the story. Perhaps there has been some conflict. So things are feeling a bit chaotic at the moment. What is going to help you is patience and being honest with yourself, basically. So we have Ivaz, which is the rune of patience, slow growth, slow development, step by step. It's the yew tree. So you're going to be basically taking things step by step to get out of this storm. And as you do this, you're going to become more in connection with your inner voice and your inner communication, and basically to be able to listen to yourself and go, yeah, you know what, I've got to be honest. Situation is a bit chaotic and I need to take steps to get out of that. What is going to drag you down at this point? What might hinder your forward progress is we have Laguz reversed and we have Gabo. So Laguz reversed. Laguz is the rune of, it's water, so it's the lake. It's all the watery stuff. So it's emotion, intuition, and heart. It is reversed. So you're worried about negative emotions, and beyond that, there is an agreement that has been in place, whether it's with somebody else or with yourself, that you're sort of worried about, sort of conflicting with, but you have to be honest with yourself. So there may be negative emotions happening that are dragging you down, and everything leads you to, but I made this agreement kind of thing. But if you're in a situation where you're not happy, and you're not in a situation where, if things are chaotic, you basically want to start taking steps and be honest with yourself to start getting yourself out. So your next step is moving out of your comfort zone. It may mean leaving where you are, where you currently consider home, but I'm not going to say that as like a given because that's terrible. So I hope not, but but it is Othala reversed. So Othala is the home and the homeland. It is reversed on your path line. So it's, at the very least, letting go of things that no longer serve you, and at the very least, it's leaving your comfort zone. Because a lot of things that, we withstand because we're comfortable, like there's a certain amount of like being used to it, but it's not going to get things better if you're not happy. So just letting go of what isn't serving you right now. What is going to help you is just basically cross that threshold. The door is open. We need to take that step into somewhere new so that you can start to earn your flitch and start to feel that you are in a situation where you are domestically happy, whether that's by yourself or with somebody else. So you're going to want to basically take that challenge. The door is open. It's just going to be a psychological thing to basically step through that door. It could also be just basically facing the challenge. Like if you're in a situation where you're just sort of putting up with things, but you could face them and say, no, you know what, this is here for me to face. This is my challenge, and I'm going to address this challenge. I'm going to face it head on, and we're going to take this on, and we're going to sort it out. So you are letting go of things that are cluttering your home space, that are keeping it from being happy. So this doesn't mean, it doesn't necessarily mean you're just going to cut and run. It could mean turning around and going, okay, you know what, look, we want this home to be happy, so let's face what needs to be fixed and fix it. What isn't going to help is we have Vunyo, which is the rune of joy, a very positive rune in a very negative spot, and this has to do with fears about that thing. So you are worried about happiness, you're worried about what it's going to entail, and you're worried about, you're just basically worried about things that have to do with your happiness. You're worried about, maybe if this all came up because of avoidance, you're worried that facing it is going to make things worse, and this ties in with the negative emotions and the agreement that sort of is hanging over you. But honestly, it's not going to get better unless it gets faced. So you need to basically, as Yona Yinton says, be like the bison and face into the storm and take it on. Step over that threshold, make that choice. What this is going to lead you to is revelations that they were always there, but you didn't realize it. So we have Pertho, which is the lot box. This is basically the surprises, but also fate. But the surprises that are revealed from the lot box are things that were already in the lot box. It's just you couldn't see them before. So once you turn around and face this, and once you start to declutter and let go of things that aren't serving you, you're going to start to see things that were covered by the clutter before that you always had. What is going to help you is just be open, continue to expand, open out, and just like be open to receiving these things, I'm going to say. Don't worry about the journey, although this shows up in what you shouldn't be worried about. The journey is going to be an issue. It's not going to be the journey that you initially planned, however long ago this started, but it is going to be your journey. You're just worried about it being your journey. So if that starts to be the case, bring yourself back up to this very exciting adventure you're on, especially since you stepped through this threshold, over the threshold, into the new ground, and you are expanding in this new ground, and you're not going to go back. Right now you're letting things be revealed. You're letting things become, let themselves be revealed, and let these things come to light, because this is how you're going to deal with it, and you're going to expand and sort of, I'm going to say embrace, but I don't really mean embrace. What do I mean? You're going to accept as part of the whole the things that are being revealed, because these are probably the answers to why things were happening the way they were. And what this all will lead you to, thankfully, is the theme of the entire video set today, which is inner strength. This is going to lead you to a much greater sense of inner strength in your life, your inner Uruz. Uruz reversed, which is the wild ox, which is strength and health. Fantastic. Exactly the solution, and it's right there at the end of your reading. Huzzah. So that, Dark Bull people, is your reading about how to connect with your inner Uruz. Flitch is your word. So there we go. I wish you good luck with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello to all of you who chose the, how am I going to describe this? The charging bull, the bull ready to gore somebody, the bowing bull. Let's do bowing bull. So the bowing bull, the people who chose the bowing bull. Let's start with a card from the Forgotten English deck and see if we can find a card that has a word on it that is no longer used, that sums up either what you need to deal with in order to reconnect with your inner strength, or something that is the key to your inner strength. So let's see what this is. Gorgaze? Is gorgaze the word? Okay, Middle English word meaning elegant, fashionable. Its root was in Latin gurges, used in the 3rd century to refer to the throat. In the 15th century, a new style of women's headdress called a gorgias, which also covered the throat, was devised. It partially replaced the popular wimple, which also covered the head, which is still worn but only by nuns. This fashion was apparently so admired that gorgeous became synonymous with tastefulness in dress. The derivative gorgeous has survived into modern times. It took a long time to get the meaning of this one for your reading, but here we are, gorgeous, gorgeous. So we're looking for what is going to connect you to your inner strength is, I'm seeing this as really having beauty around you. Because there was so much reference to the throat, I'm really going to say that this may also have to do with beautiful communications as well as just being tasteful and elegant. So just sort of like being gracious, being, having that inner beauty, like doing things that highlight your inner beauty, basically. Whether, however you present, but in terms of just what you find nourishingly beautiful, to embody that, to speak it, so that it's basically, it boosts you, because when you're surrounded by beauty, you have a much stronger connection to your inner strength. So, like this one time, we were at this hotel, and everything in this hotel was beautiful, and everywhere you looked was something you wanted to look at, and it's like, this is very nourishing. Like, you don't get that, you don't generally get that in the world, like just where everything that you're looking at is something very beautiful. So it's like, something to keep in mind. But anyway, just, it's about living the beauty, living and speaking the beauty that nourishes and that connects you to your inner strength. So let's get the whole reading down, and then we're going to read that. Okay. I think this is how many we're doing. Ooh, is that blank? Okay. Good. Okay. Bowing bull people. Our central issue here is Yira. Now, Yira is the rune of the harvest and also time. So this is the harvest. It's the fruits of your labors, bringing things through in the time in which you have to do so. What led up to this is, it's sort of, okay, so we have Berkana, which is the rune of the birch tree and birth and beginnings. It's reversed. So reverse generally has to do with inner. So you've had already some inner beginnings that have already borne fruit. So you've already sort of begun this as you come up through, just sort of being mindful of how you're presenting, how you choose to present yourself in the world, how you choose to communicate in the world. And this is starting from within. This is definitely a within thing. Like, people on the outside may not, it may be very subtle, But you're already seeing results. You're already seeing the fruits of your labors for this. What is going to help you is let your spirit carry you and keep moving forward. We have Avaz, which is the root of the horse. The horse is movement and spirit. So letting your spirit carry you, but keep moving forward with this. This is basically, you're already getting encouraged by the fact that you're already seeing results. Beyond that, as you move forward, this is going to make you very aware of where things need to be tweaked and where things, because you're so mindful of this right now, as you move forward with this, letting your spirit carry you, of course, because that's, it's coming from within anyway, you're going to notice where the gaps are. The more you do it, the more you're going to see, aha, okay, so there's a gap that I need to fill with more of what I want there to be. What isn't going to help is there may be, this is like really new, and it's new from the inside. There may be some stubbornness, sort of like, I'm not going to say comfort zone, but I'm going to say just like some stubbornness in habit of what you used to have going on. We have Uruz, which is of course the wild ox. The whole readings are about that, but this is on the what isn't helping line. So I'm seeing sort of a stubbornness to old habits, and through that it's like I'm sort of not trusting like this is you trusting the spirit and moving forward and filling in the gaps. This is you sort of clinging to the old and saying, well, you know what, I did well enough so far before, and blah. We have ounces reversed at the lowest point, which sort of gets opened up to with clinging to the old, and just sort of this sort of refusal to communicate with all that. Sort of, I guess, silence. I'm just trying to think of ways to, because this is the opposite of this. So it's like sort of like doing nothing about the gaps that you're noticing. So if that starts to be the case, starts dragging you down, bring yourself back up to letting your spirit carry you, your spirit being informed by this new beginning that you're doing, this new shining beginning, and being aware of where the gaps are that you need to fill. What this is going to lead you to is we have Pertho reversed. Pertho is the rune of the lot box. This has to do with surprises and fate. It is reversed and it is inner. So you're finding out things about yourself as you move forward. There may be things that are particularly sticky that you're going to notice as you move forward on this new path, in the name of being gracious, being a force for gorgeousness in the world, where you're presenting yourself in a way that is beautiful and communicating in a way that is beautiful. You're going to be finding things out about yourself that maybe you didn't know before, and sometimes this can be a bit jarring and startling. When you hit things that are jarring and startling, just remember that you've actually already made this agreement with yourself. So we have Gabo, which is the rune of it's a gift. So the gift is always an exchange. It's agreements, decisions, goals, and plans. So you have this already set up. So just remind yourself, no, you know what, I made this agreement with myself to take this as far as I can. Hopefully as far as I can go. So if I hit something that is difficult, what do? I already know what I'm doing. When I find a gap, I work on following the spirit and finding a way to fix it. Whatever spirit is for you. So it could be higher self, it could be whatever you're following. So whatever is your internal compass that you're following, this is going to help you deal with that, and you already have that agreement in place. What isn't going to help is giving up. We have Tivaz reversed. Tivaz is the warrior god. Tivaz is Tears rune. Tears the warrior god. And this is basically putting your sword down and giving up and saying, you know whatever, I'm going to go back to what I was before. That could drag you down because you've already started this and it's going really well and you're already getting results, so you know it's working. Bring yourself back up to remembering this is an agreement that I have with myself, and we're going to do this. We're going to keep on with this. And what this is going to lead you to is greater clarity, a greater sense of it's stillness through which clarity comes. You're not going to feel like you're racing around as much about it. It's going to become comfortable, but you may also find yourself becoming very still within it, like not. Maybe you were feeling like you had to explain things before. Maybe there's that kind of thing going on. But even though, like, you may have to deal with, people that are like, the heck are you doing? So basically, just remind yourself that you can stand up for yourself. You are able to be an individual. If this is what is giving you joy and nourishing you, and connecting you to your inner strength, then absolutely do that. You don't need anybody else's validation for that. So we have Algi's reversed. Algi's is the rune of protection and support. It's the moose, otherwise known as the elk, but it's what we call the moose in North America. Anyway, in this moment where you're basically becoming very, the clarity is coming through and you really know what you're doing, even if there is a certain stillness to it at this point, you may be like a bit of standstill for that, but you can support yourself with this. What isn't going to help is you may be worried about energy levels. We have Sovilo, which is the sun. Sun has to do with source energy, illumination, things like that. You may be a bit worried about that, but just bring yourself back up to, you know what, I'm making my decisions. We can make our choices, you know, however many times we want to in our lives. It's our lives, and we can do whatever we, you know, ultimately whatever we feel like doing with our lives as far as our path. So you can support yourself. I just want to throw down one more on Isa because I want to make this really clear. Yeah, so it's almost like your emotions are able to flow, which is good, but they're flowing under ice. So you're able to present this solid surface and be solid with it, and also have a certain sense of stillness about you, that clarity is coming through. But this is where your heart is, and your emotions are definitely in flow underneath that, and the emotions are full of riches. So I've just combined Elder Futhark and Younger Futhark meanings for ice, but that's okay, and also for Lagus. No worries, all good. You know what you're doing, you know what your plan is, and once again, you are already seeing results of this, so it's definitely working for you. And what this is going to lead you to is absolutely new ground. Like, this is basically, you've never been here before, it's a real adventure for you, but you are getting the nourishment that you need from this. So you are totally able to stand up for yourself, moving forward into this new adventure, in this new world and where this has gotten you, with your inner strength intact. So that is your very interesting reading, Bowing Bull People, with Gorgaze as your word. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye! Hello, brown and white bull people. So I'm going to turn the brown and white bull over so that it's facing where the reading is going to happen. I'm going to put that there, and we're going to shuffle and pick a card from the Forgotten English deck and see if we can find you a word that is no longer used in English that either sums up how to connect with your inner strength or represents something that you need to overcome to connect with your inner strength. And let's see what we get. I'm going to shuffle that again because that didn't work. I didn't see anything. I just basically all fell apart when I unshuffled. So let's see what your word is. Your word is Bojet? Or is it Boget? Bojet? Let's see. This Middle English word was borrowed from Old French bouge, small leather bag, derived from Latin bulga. From the 17th century, the spelling had become budget, as it has remained until the present. By 1700, the meaning of the word had come to include the contents of the pouch or wallet, a development that allowed it to take on the financial connotation of projected English treasury expenses. By the mid-1800s, the meaning had broadened to include the money available for use by an individual. Its common meaning today, so budgeting is going to be key for you in reconnecting to your inner strength or connecting to your inner strength. As long as you know where everything is and where everything is going, from a very practical standpoint, that's going to make you feel very strong and solid. Yes, and no matter what anybody else tells you, that's going to help you. So I'm going to lay down the entire reading blank, the entire reading to begin with, and then we're going to read from there. Definitely good. In fact, I could learn from this. I wonder if this is the one I would have chosen if I'd seen this reading. No, I already do that, kind of. I could do better. Oop. Oh my gosh. Everything flying everywhere. And finally, nice. Okay. So your central issue here is you are really looking to march to your own drummer, really. You're just going to tune out the din of what's going on around you in terms of other humans in humanity telling you what to do, and you're going to go, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing because I know what I need. We have Manas reversed. Manas is the rune of humanity and your part in it. When it's reversed, especially in the central issue, it's basically you going, you know what, You all have nice advice, but that's not going to apply to me, and I know what I need. So leading up to this, things have been pretty chaotic, actually. Things have been like feeling kind of out of your control. Things have been feeling like crazy weather, and you just want to take things in hand and go, look, here, I'm going to make a budget, and that's going to help me. And once this is there, that's going to be my solidity that I'm going to be able to draw on, that's going to help me have this inner strength that's going to buoy me up in this crazy world. So yes, here you are saying, okay, everybody shut up, I'm doing my own thing, and that's the right thing for me. So the most important thing that's going to help you is start. We have Barkana, which is the rune of the birch tree, and birth, its beginnings. Starting is going to be the most important thing that you can do. So just basically say, I'm going to start. I'm just going to start this. I'm going to start it. And that's going to open everything up to you. As soon as you start, everything's going to get opened up to you. We have the blank rune behind it. So starting is just the way to do it. It's like that. I don't know how much I can say without copyright. Now I can say that there was a Disney movie recently with the ocean, and when the main character, it didn't do anything until the main character took a step, and then the ocean would do the thing. So you have to take the step, and then the ocean will do the thing. So beginning is the main thing, and then everything else will follow. It opens the door to everything. What isn't going to help you is you may, okay, so 1, fear of commitment. 2, that your journey is going to get locked into, or 2, you may already have had plans about things, and you may be worried that you're not going to be able to fulfill these plans, or you may have one other person who is like, yeah, but, and that might be a bit of an argument. Ultimately, it all comes down to worries about what path your life is going to take, and if you budget, what is that going to turn that into? But these are worries. Like, these are very positive runes in a negative spot, and that generally has to do with worries about that thing, unless there is one other person who's making it difficult for you, in which case, you know what, just say, I'm doing a new beginning. I'm listening to myself right now, and in this new beginning, everything is going to open up for you. So all you have to do is start, and however worried you are about commitment and the journey as it goes forward, this is one of the best things you can do, because it's basically going to give you that inner strength that you're not going to have to worry about things, because you're going to know. So you're going to know what's going where, and you're going to know what you have, and you're going to know where you stand. So starting is going to be the most important thing. It's going to open everything up to you. Your next step is, I'm going to read this a couple ways. We have Vunyo reversed. Vunyo is the rune of joy. It's on the path line and it's reversed. So I'm going to read this as you may be a little bit discontented to begin with, or you may become aware of where you are discontented. Actually, an and or. You may become aware of where you are discontented, and these are the things that need tweaking. And there's no reason you can't do that tweaking. Like, this is an important step along the way. You're going to say, okay, a budget, I'm going to start. And then you're like, you know what? This thing that maybe I cut out was important to me, and maybe I can sort of find a way to tweak that back in. Or, I just don't feel, I feel maybe I'm doing too much in this direction. Maybe we can cut that back. There are things that are going to sort of come up as you move forward. It's a living thing, like it's a living endeavor that you're doing. So you're going to be working on that. We have Ingvaz. What's going to help you is active creation. So you're going to be working with what you have to control what you can and to get things into the shape that you want them. Just, don't shy away from doing that. It's like, this is your life and you have already decided this is what you want to be doing. So work with it and you're going to get it into a shape that you like. What isn't going to help is you're worried about support. You're a bit worried about support. We have Algies, which is the rune of protection and support. Maybe this leads from, if this was one other person, there may be like a lack of that. You may be worried that this isn't going to be supported by the other person. This is not always going to be the case. It's maybe only once in a while who's reading this or hearing this. But you may be worried about levels of support, outer support, for this, because you have decided that you're going to do this, regardless of what anybody else is saying. So you may be thinking, like, maybe that person who said, oh, you ought to do this, or you ought not to do that, and you should do this instead. You may be like considering at this point, because it may be a bit hard, but it's you, it's your challenge. So just sort of like take a deep breath and step into the ring and go, okay, well, this is what I know I need, and this is what I know I don't need, and I'm going to wrestle with this until I get it into shape. And that's what's going to help, just doing the work, like getting in there. Just like starting was the main thing, is like getting in there and doing the work it's not going to get better until you do it. So that's what's going to help you with that, fix it up. And then, after that step, you're really going to start to see results. This is really, really, really positive. Look at this. We have Yira, which is the rune of the harvest and also time. So we're really going to start to see results. Once this is in place, you're going to see the fruits of your labors. You're going to see things coming through that you didn't think that you had. It's like that whole, you're richer than you know that you are. So things are coming through. Things will start to come into fruition that are going to be like really, really, really good. And you're going to be very, very happy about it. It's going to be a very positive thing. And you're going to be like, wow, this is terrific. And what's going to help you is, we have Laguz reversed here. I want to throw down another clarifier on the above and below on this, because I want clarification on the Laguz reversed, because that's tricky. So Laguz is the rune of the water, it's the lake, it's the flow. It's reversed on the helping line. So it's almost like you're getting on top of your emotions by surfing them. So we have Ava's on top, which is movement and also spirit, letting your spirit carry you over where perhaps your emotions are a little bit upsurgy, a little bit upheavally. But mostly I'm sort of seeing like you are more in touch with your deep inner heart, and also maybe where your heart's not in it, you're letting your spirit carry you over. But there's something, I'm sort of like just circling around it, where this is basically saying that you're no longer worked up anymore. You find like the absence of worry is a huge help. And that's actually what I'm seeing this as the most, is now that things are really coming through, one thing you're noticing is what is missing, which is the absence of this constant worry that you had before. That's not there anymore, and this frees you up to follow your spirit better. So that's awesome. I love that. What isn't helping is you may worry about, okay, two things. We have Uruz and we have now these reversed. So you're sort of worried about, you're almost tempted to be like really stubborn and like not really accept how good this is yet, and because you're thinking like there's always going to be an emergency. What if there's an emergency that I didn't budget for? Now Thieves Reversed is an emergency. It's in the lowest line, so it's what won't help you, but it's also the worries about those things. So you're sort of feeling like, am I locked into this? And also, what if there's an emergency? There's always going to be something to worry about. But just bring yourself back up to this moment where, I did budget. I budgeted to the best of my ability, and I even worked on it for a while to make sure that things were really, really good. And I am seeing results right now, which is really exciting. And basically, I'm not worried anymore. I haven't been worried, and it's worrying that I'm not worried anymore, because I almost like am stubbornly sticking to where I felt before, the old way where I was worried. But no, I'm not worried anymore, and I can follow my spirit a little bit better, and I can move forward a little bit better. So that's what's going to help you the most. And the final rune in this particular spread is Ansu's reversed. Ansu's is the rune of communication and manifestation. It's reversed on the pathline. So really a greater faith in your own inner voice, because you made this happen. By the time you reach this point, you're going to be like, my inner communication, my communication with myself, I am on fire with myself. Like, things are good, and I can trust myself with this. I've made this happen, and I feel good, and I feel like I'm moving forward nicely, and I feel not worried anymore, which is terrific, because I started this from a storm. So that, brown and white bull people, is your reading based on how to connect with your inner Uruz, your inner strength, how to connect with that. So I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye.